The Avengers, baby.
Surprise, we're back.
We're back.
We're back. Y'all can't get rid of us. Y'all can't get rid of us. Welcome back to, I guess you want to say, the re-kickoff of the final whistle here on the Bama Standard. We didn't want y'all to think that we've been MIA. You know, we're going to give you all the X's and O's and all the roasting Georgia jokes and Auburn and Tennessee and all that good stuff. You know, that's what we do here on the final whistle. Hit that like, subscribe button. You know, come in, Facebook fans, X fans, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Listen, tune in. We got an action-packed show. You see, I'm here with my amazing Avengers to my immediate left. No, right. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. The one and only Luscion Graves. How are you, sir?
Man, it feels good to be back with my Avengers. We got a lot to talk about. I'm excited, and this feels different, but I'm feeling good. Let's go.
We got so much to talk about. We're in the green room just stoked over here. So, speaking of Stokes and Stogies, the one and only Ty Hayes, Mr. Around the Table Sports, got his stogie in his left hand. How are you, sir?
I'm excited. I'm really excited. There's a topic on here that I hinted at, guys, in my last video I made. Slowly starting to get back into making some content, but I hinted at this. Luscion and I talked about it, and I'm really excited because there's something that college football isn't talking about that you don't want to miss.
We're going to bring it up here on the Fighting Wilson. That's why you tune in. And ladies and gentlemen, the man, the king of Rose Towers. 32, Chris James. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm good, man. Spring break, baby. Well, you know, I ain't sleep tonight, baby. I'm not tired this week, baby. We're ready to roll. I'm up. Hey, Lou, I'm up, Lou.
Hey, are we taking bets at what minute mark he's going to fall asleep?
45. I set the over and under at 45.
We're good.
You're
Like,
already leaning back.
Sponsorship.
I
think he's gonna make it. I think he's gonna make it.
He's already leaning back.
I'm with you, Chris.
I say the 17-minute mark.
I say 45 minutes.
Damn. Did Justin just get a new haircut? Come back on here.
You ever seen Toy Story, the first one? You know the kid that blew up all the neighbor that blew up all the toys? Bitch Mac.
Sid.
Justin haircut.
Sid.
Justin got that Johnny Neutron.
Looks like Sid.
Y'all remember that?
What?
Johnny Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron.
Ladies and
His
gentlemen,
head ain't that big.
the man, the myth, the legend, our lead recruiting analyst, Dan James. How are you?
I'm always good, brother. Hey, it's Tuesday night, and the Avengers have reassembled.
We have reassembled, and we are back. So, I'm going to talk about our premier sponsor, Limestone Company. Listen, if you want to get your yard looking rock hard with stone, premier stone, go to Limestone Rock Company at realrockstone.com. That is realrockstone.com. These guys they lead the industry when it comes to stone landscaping. They can supply all your needs for your yard, your landscaping, whatever your needs. Go to realrockstone.com and get your yard looking hard. Oh, it rhymed. It came off the dome. Look, improv. So, guys, we got a lot to talk about. So, we're just going to dive right in it. We got spring ball coming up. Well, spring ball's going on right now. And it's been a lot of chatter and just a lot of highlights from, Dan, you can attest to this. We got the big-time recruit, committed 5-star Jordan Edmonds. You seeing highlights and clips of, the lengthened corner, Dijon Lee. You're looking at Cam Calhoun. You're looking at all the secondary. And, Ty alluded to it a couple of weeks ago on our previous show, how the cornerback room went from, the biggest question mark last year to towards the end of the season. We had so much experience that they turned into some game changers. So, guys, and let's talk about the guy who's spearheading this group, who's developing this talent. Let's talk about the one and only Mo Linguist. And I'm going to let Luscion pop it off and then Ty, because I know they got a lot to say.
I'll let Ty go first.
Oh, we'll let Ty go first.
If I may.
Yeah, we let Ty go first. Lou, you go second. And then, Dan, you talk about just his recruiting impact.
Okay.
And then, Chris, you can round us out. Ty?
So I want to take us back to last January. Saban retires, you have an exodus, right? Caleb Downs leaves, Trey Amos leaves. You have 2 first-round caliber corner, count them 2, head to the NFL. It is a crime McKinstry wasn't taken in the first round. I've already complained about that enough. But you had 2 first-round caliber guys. If we stack it up, Trey Amos is being talked about as a possible first-rounder. There's 3. Caleb Williams, there's 4. You had 4 first-round guys exit this secondary. Nick Saban, DB guru. How many defensive backs have committed to Alabama? 1, because it's Alabama, but 2, let's be honest here. They wanted to be coached not only by the GOAT, but one of the greatest DB coaches that we've seen, Nick Saban. You add in on top of that, T-Rob, who was a recruiting whiz, had done great work at South Carolina with their defensive backs. Nick Saban himself came out and said, the thing I'm concerned about most for Alabama is the defensive back room. And I think every Alabama fan out there echoed that sentiment. You had nothing but new. Damani Jackson hadn't played a full high school season since his sophomore year, let alone a full season of football since his sophomore year of high school. He had an injury. The pandemic happened. He redshirted his first year at USC. He dealt with injuries his second year of USC. This was the first full year of high school of football since sophomore year. You had a true freshman on the other side. You had a transfer in Sab back deep. You had Malachi, who, thank God, was there as well, helping them get acclimated to what it means to wear that script A. Gentlemen, what everybody thought was the biggest weakness turned very quickly into arguably the strength of that team. Alabama's pass defense was one of the best in the nation, with guys who haven't played much, you look at Sab, he didn't even start at Michigan for a lot of that year. He was a guy they were really excited about that was going to start. Coach Mo took this room. Damani Jackson, he's probably going to be a first-rounder. If he just replicates what he did last year, he's a first-rounder. Zabian, future first-rounder. Then you go and get a guy like Chuck McDonald. You go and get a guy like Dijon Lee. You reach in the transfer portal, get Cam Howard. You get Deshaun Jones. And then you add in a Cam Calhoun, who was a top 10 graded corner in the nation. I look at this secondary now, and I have the opposite concern I had a year ago, where a year ago it's, what are we going to do? There's talent, but they're young. Zay Mincy stuff. I look at this secondary now, and my question is, how in the world are we going to play all these guys? How are you going to play Hubbard, Sad, Ivan Taylor, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., Deshaun Jones, Cam Calhoun, Zay Mincy, Dijon Lee, Damani Jackson, Zabian Brett? Like, this whole secondary is unbelievably loaded. And on top of that, as Dan is about to allude, you don't have Nick Saban anymore. You don't have T-Rob anymore recruiting. And what does Coach Mo do? Oh, he gets top 100 defensive back Chuck McDonald, 5-star defensive back Dijon Lee, 5-star defensive back Jordan Edmonds, top 50 Zion Gibson. What he has done is nothing short of exceptional, both in play, in recruiting, in practice. Coach Mo arguably, guys, I'll put him up there right now. That might be the best hire Alabama has made in years, even extending into the Nick Saban era. That's how good Coach Mo has been.
Luscion, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. I think the thing that's most interesting about Coach Mo is the way he's able to impact and influence his players. Now, as Ty alluded to, he got all this talent assembled, but how did he use it? He didn't make a pecking order. He basically cross-trained everybody to be able to do everything. That way, when they're lining up, a quarterback and the offensive coordinator can't get a beat on who's actually in what coverage. And you also have to think about some of the other people he didn't name. A Bray Hubbard coming up. There's other guys in the system. Dre Kirkpatrick that has flashed. He's been able to influence these young DBs into sticking their heads down and doing the hard work. And it's actually paying off. And with our secondary being as strong as we all know it's going to be, and as very confusing as it's going to be, because we're going to have 6'4" corners, 6'3" safeties running around, and you're not going to know the alignment. But what Coach Mo's been able to do with that, he's not only been able to make sense of what these young players need to do, inspire them to do it, he's been able to make them successful very early. And that is a very scary thing, because we already had, as we alluded to last year, some freshmen that were successful at a very early stage. We get all this experience at a very early age. It is just going to pay dividends, especially with these longer seasons the college football playoff is making our players play. It'll take some burn off their tires, some tread off them wheels. And another thing about Coach Mo is he's not just active with the DBs. He's active amongst the whole team. He's kind of, I don't know if he's the rah-rah guy, but he's definitely one of the heartbeats behind the team and how they move. And I think I agree with Ty. I mean, if he's not being considered for a defensive coordinator job or head coaching job here in the next couple of years, people are outside their mind, because the relationships he's been able to maintain and then spread that throughout his room and to his players being able to generally play with each other. Because a lot of people play sports and a lot of people are teammates, but they actually enjoy competing together. And if you get a whole bunch of guys that can enjoy to compete together, that's something whole different entirely to deal with.
And I love what you said right there, Luscion, about cross-training, getting these guys to play. And one thing I love, to piggyback off that, I love how they rotate a lot of guys. They play a lot of guys. Like, a lot of guys, I know they were young, they had to get experience, but he doesn't have an issue throwing guys in the fire. Like, he just want to see what you're made of. And I think that's just, to your point, Ty and Lou, with the long college football season, I think that's just going to just reap rewards as far as depth, experience. Guys want to come play for Coach Mo, play in this defense. I mean, look at the interceptions alone. I think we had 18, 19 picks, last year. So I think sky's the limit moving forward. Now let's go down to Dan. Dan, can you talk about how Coach Mo has the recruiting impact and just, out recruiting guys like Kirby, T-Rob for some of these top secondary guys in the country? Looks like back-to-back years.
Yeah, man. You think about it. When T-Rob left, to go to Georgia at that, Bama Nation, we were going crazy. We're going back crazy. How can we lose T-Rob? He's going to get Caleb Downs now. Caleb Downs going to Georgia. He's going to Georgia. And now we're not even discussing that anymore, the impact of T-Rob leaving. And that's a testament to the job that Coach Mo has done since he's been at the capstone. The guy, like Ty and Lou was saying, this guy, he's come in, he came in, late last year, developed relationships. We lost a lot in the secondary, but he was able to rebuild the depth. Now we're back to being able to have to process some guys. We mentioned guys that we lost, but another guy, switched positions. Jalen Mbakwe, he switched over to receiver. They're just a testament to the depth that we built in the secondary. And Coach Mo, he's been hitting a home run on the recruiting trail. and he's been hitting the home run, developing guys. You know, and that is what we talk about all the time, Lou, about, you know, being able to recruit as well as develop. You know, because it's easy to recruit at Alabama, you know, but everybody can't develop. You know, and Coach Mo, he's done a tremendous job of that. You know, and I've been very impressed with what we've seen from him. Yeah, if you know, he's not the least, you know, he should be getting a major pay raise or somebody. Yes, some teams are gonna start coming after him. You know, so we better enjoy him while we got him on campus.
Chris, I'll let you close us out on this topic. I want you to, if you can discuss anything that nobody discussed about or add on, and could you just talk about what you're kind of hearing about the great job, you know, not only Coach Mo Linguist, but, you know, we brought in Jason Jones. You know, he used to be a GA when we were at UA, and I heard he's doing a phenomenal job with the safeties. Could you add on to that as well? You're on mute.
Yeah, well, what some people fail to realize is like the SEC is a grind. That's a 12-game regular season, so you're gonna have injuries. And how many times have we been caught having to throw a young guy in there that was kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit because of injuries late in the season? So the good thing about this is if everybody stays tacked after spring ball, going into fall ball, even if injuries happen, we have guys that can step in with little to no drop off. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. You look at like Lou, like we were talking about back during the playoffs when we were watching these teams, how these other teams, it was like, why Bama can't look like these defenses? Like why can't we look like you look at Penn State, who's just so athletic? You get what I'm saying? Notre Dame, teams like that, they were so physical and athletic on a back end, and I think that's how we're gonna look this year. I can't explain enough how big of an addition Cam Calhoun is. Like that kid was a dog at Utah. Now you have 4 caliber starting corners that aren't true freshmen with playing experience. You have Domani, Xavier Brown, Cam Calhoun, and Day Jones. Now you got 4 guys with starting experience. Not to mention Mbakwe, who if emergency situation, he can come back on that side of the ball. But you don't have to, because now you're bringing in Chuck McDonald and Dijon Lee. Now you're absolutely loaded. You're loaded. And not in addition to the guys we have coming in next year, like Jordan Edmonds, 26. Like it's not fair, man. It's not fair. Just the plethora of riches that we have at the corner position. Now we go over to the safety side of to the safety room, and you have Jay Jones there, who was a guru, man. Like Jay was so smart. I happened to play with Jay my freshman year. He's the guy that was my host on my visit to Bama, and this guy was one of the smartest DBs I ever been around. This guy knew the whole defense, Ellis Johnson's defense. Threw in, he was a 5th-year senior at the time, and he was like another field general. He was smart, man. So he came and became a GA for 2 years when I was there, and he was he was ready as a GA to be he was with Chris Ball, and he was ready then. And we're talking about 2003, 2004. He was ready. This 2025, so he's been on the D1 level ever since. So just think about all the experience and knowledge that they're getting from him. He's one of the brightest minds I've been around. He coached with Roman Harper, Charlie Pepper, and he's been at Ole Miss back. Ty wasn't there with under Womack's dad.
Dave
Wommack.
Back with the Land Shark defense. He was at North Carolina recently, he Indiana. So I mean, the guy's been around. He's smart, man. And so now that helps out a guy like Ivan Teller to get ahead really, really quick, get up to date really quick. That helps a young guy like Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. grow up fast, and a guy like Zay Mincy, because you see your biggest jump from year 1 to year 2. And then now you already have Bray Hubbard and Keon Saab on the back end, and now you got a guy like Red Morgan who you can coach up more, who you can get going. So now, man, I mean, we have a big room of safeties, of good safeties too, that matches the corner room, as far as potential. Because Bray Hubbard will play on Sundays. Keon Saab will play on Sundays. Ivan Teller will play on Sundays. Zay Mincy will play on Sundays. Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. will play on Sundays.
Yep.
Liv Morgan.
On and on.
You play on Sundays. That is sick.
Yeah.
Unheard of. Like in this day of age in the NIL, you don't get past too deep with NFL guys. You may have a couple backups that'll be there, but everybody in this era, me, what can I get for me? What can I get? What can I gain? They're going to where they can play. But at Bama, it looks like we're stockpiling again. But the key thing about it, if you watched last year, y'all remember at the very beginning of the year, we played a lot of guys.
A lot of guys.
Every other series, they were rotating corners, they were rotating safety. And that's attractive to a guy because that way you're fresh, man. Like you're not beat up in November. You're not beat up in October. You know, you're fresh because this is if you play your 12-game season, your conference championship, that's 13, and then those 4 rounds of playoffs. Is it 4 rounds? Is it the first round, the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals? If you don't have a bye, you're playing up to 17 games. That's a lot of football, man. And that's a lot of players. Now you can't just be 1 deep or 2 deep. You have to, as Notre Dame, you saw the injuries to them. You saw the injuries to certain teams. You got to be able to roll now. And I think that we're getting to the point on the back end, man, where everything's gonna take care of itself. And when the addition of Jay Jones, now that's an upgrade, man. Not to say that the Hitchler was a doggone good coach, but he didn't relate too well to the players. Now, Jay Jones, he played at Bama. He knows the standard. He knows how to show guys how to adjust to the standard, because at Bama, it's like a certain expectation. I don't care if you played there in 1941, 1961, 1981, 2001. It's a standard that you have to play to. He's been a part of that standard for so long that now he can preach that every day. Now you adding guys, even though we have a new staff, now you have a guy to add to that defense side of the ball with Roach that knows the standard, that can preach that standard because they lived it. So now, man, I just really expect us to be flying all over the place. Go ahead, Ty.
Chris, you look like head detective.
Yeah, you keep getting lower and lower.
I look like what's his name? Minnie.
You reminded me of Mr. Potato Head. Ty, you want to say something?
Yeah, and this is all. I'll be very quick with this. To Dan's point, in terms of Coach Mo's recruiting, I want y'all to remember something. Georgia has Kirby. They get T-Rob, but that's not all they did. They went to USC and hired Dante Williams, the guy who got or helped them get Damani Jackson, but also August before last, there were articles coming out. So I'm talking 2023. There were articles coming out saying, man, USC and Williams have really positioned themselves well for Dejoun Lee in the state of California. They're right there. He's in the backyard. So you have Kirby, T-Rob, and Williams, and they get lockered by Mo. Absolutely lockered by Coach Mo. And then you look at what he did this year. Guys, Bama's going to have one of, if not 8, no, I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say it with my chest. Bama's going to have a top 3 secondary in college football this year.
Easily.
Too deep. Easily.
With their backups.
Right. Right.
Speaking of recruiting and them lockering T-Rob and Kirby, Dan, I know we got Zion Gibson, we got Jordan Edmonds. Are we looking for a third DB corner, and what are some names we need to be on the lookout for?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're going to get at least 3, maybe 4, which is crazy. And we're going to sign 3 or 4 highly touted guys, blue chippers. So we're looking at guys. We have guys left on board. Brandon Arrington. We got Elbert Hill. So it's gonna come to a point where Alabama's gonna have to be the one making the tough decision. We're gonna have to turn some guys away. We got several guys that are very high on Alabama at the safety position, but you got to continue to recruit these guys that we have, so don't just consider we have, because guys they're coming after our guys. Our guys still taking visits. Jordan Edmonds, he started out as a 3-star. Alabama was on him first. as a 3-star. They looked at him, watched film. It's a testament to their ability to scout and evaluate talent. Well, they saw Jordan Edmonds. They're like, oh, this is a guy we got to have. This is a guy they started pushing for first. Let's get this guy. We got Zion Gibson. And what did Jordan Edmonds do? He goes to every camp. And he's a top performer. They like his length, his fluidity in his hips. His ability to break on the ball, his long arms. He played both sides of the ball, the spray bear. This is a testament to their ability to get on guys early, same way they did with Keelan Russell. They see a guy early in the process and they build a relationship and go from there. But yeah, Georgia is really still they're not giving up on him. They're not giving up on Jordan Edmonds. Tennessee still coming after Zion Gibson. Auburn. So we got to continue to recruit the guys that we have, get them on campus as much, get them around the staff. Jordan Edmonds. His mom really likes the campus. She likes how her son knows his way around campus almost now. He feels at home there. So it's we got Brandon Ayrton coming 1 week I think in June, then Elba Hill coming the next week, which is a good thing, to get these guys back on campus, showing that they're still interested in us and we're interested in them. And so those are the two, we're going to look at. If we take another commitment at the position, it'll be from one of those two first before we, so those are the two we'll be looking at mostly.
Well, guys, I think we did an amazing job. Shouts out to the Avengers doing a great job on this topic. Get in the chat, say, put your questions and comments, what you're excited about, what you're looking forward to this upcoming season, and what are you hearing? So, guys, let's move to our next topic. Let's talk about, we talked about the impact of Coach Mo Linguist. Let's talk about an Alabama position group spotlight. And let's talk about a position group at Bama this spring that you feel like is most improved. I think we just talked about, the defensive back room. So if you want to reach out to that again, feel free to do it. But this time I'm going to go in reverse order. I'm going to go with Mr. Big Gulp himself down there. Mr. 32, Chris James.
I'm gonna leave the meat on the bone because I know Lou like talking about.
No, that's you, Chris. You gotta do one position group.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm gonna leave the meat on the bone for Lou. I'm gonna leave those big uglies for him because I know he loves talking about them. I'm gonna go with the wide receiver room.
Go ahead. Because I'm going somewhere different.
I'm sorry, Dan. You want the receivers, Dan?
Yeah, give me the receivers, man.
Just tell me who y'all want, and I'll go to another.
Just go. If you double up, it's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll go. First off, I'll start with the quarterback room. Because when the last time we had a quarterback competition, that was like either guy that wins, you feel very confident with.
Jalen Tua.
Huh?
I said Jalen Tua.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that like truthfully. Because I feel like we can win with either of these guys. But to have three guys that are battling, we haven't had a 3-man quarterback racing, and that was legit in years, man. So I just think that that makes the whole offense look better. Like guys or receivers are we can see what our receiver room can truly do now. We really can see what our receiver room can do. I think that that Keelan isn't going to make it easy on Ty. And I believe that's why Ty is playing at such a high level because he knows
he got a dog behind him.
I was like you on a bicycle and the dog's chasing your Ty. You trying to, you got to ride. Got to hit it. You look behind that dog on your tail. No room for error. You slip up. It's over with.
It's over with.
It's over with. And that's how he's like that guy that's on the bicycle running from that dog. and I think that's why he's playing at that high level. I think that he was like Ty said. Ty used to say all the time say that he was a gunslinger. Kind of Ty Simpson was. He was more of a gunslinger type, and that had to be coached out of him. And now you have Grubb, You have Kalen DeBoer. You have a bunch of guys that really um can pull that, because Tommy Rees, he was a younger guy. And I think he was a guy that's still learning, a guy that still that probably worked better with guys that were kind of developed already. But these guys we have now, they are developers of talent, and I believe that we will see a very good Ty Simpson this year. I believe Ty will probably grab the reins, and I believe there will be packages for Keelan. And you're going to see two dynamic quarterbacks, much like the Leak and Tebow years. I think you're going to see.
I think it's going to. I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris. I think it's going to be how. Remember when Jalen was starting and Tua was a freshman? How Tua would come in the third and fourth quarter and get meaningful playing time. I think it's going to be something like that.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. But I just think that the quarterback room is probably the, outside of the wide receiver room, the biggest upgrade on the offensive side of the ball.
Dan?
Definitely. You know, I'm going to go with receivers. The receiver room, I think we upgraded, you know, tremendously. You know, the addition of Isaiah Horton, you know, and what we're seeing from Luscion Brooks. You know, you got Ryan Williams, you know, Jeremy Bernard back. You know, I think, you know, I think we're going to see the receiver room make the biggest leap of any position group, you know, this year. So, you know, I'm very excited to see what we'll be able to do. You know, I think we'll be able to push the ball upfield more this year and be able to get guys in space. You know, we got Ryan Grubb calling plays, you know, so it's a lot of opportunity for guys, you know. So I think we're going to see a much improved receiver room. You know, even the tight end, you know, but we're gonna stick with the receivers, you know, wide receivers. But yeah, definitely, you know, Isaiah Horton, you know, I don't want to undersell his value that he's gonna bring to this position. You know, he's a guy that's a polished route runner, physical, you know, guy that type of guy that thrives in this system, you know. So man, you know, we're gonna see, you know, but I think Jeremy Bernard, you know, he proved to be our most consistent receiver. You know, he proved to be our most consistent receiver last year. Ryan Williams, you know, he's amazing, you know, tremendous talent. You know, we're gonna see his growth. You know, we added Jalen Mbakwe to the room, Luscion Brooks, lightning in a bottle, you know, Rico Scott, you know, so we got a lot of guys, you know, that we're gonna try to keep happy. You know, we weren't able to do that this past year. You know, we get guys a couple of touches early in the game, then wouldn't see them anymore. You know, but now, you know, we're gonna have to spread the ball around a little bit more, and I think we will do just that this year.
And I'm glad we got somebody to do it. Luscion, I know you're over there ready to drop a hammer up there for us. Give us your take on most improved position group.
You already know what he's gonna say.
I gotta guess it's gonna be two.
After
defense.
After much consideration, I am not going to go with my assumed position group, and I'm gonna go ahead and say the offensive line.
Oh, curveball!
Oh,
it was a Nolan Ryan curveball.
Yeah, so these guys have actually gotten more into the format, and when I say format, I mean body type, movement style, more so of what we saw at Washington with DeBoer and Grubb. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that group won the what's the Outland
Joe Moore.
Yeah,
Joe Moore Award for most amazing offensive line. Now, as we know, maybe some of you don't, that line did not just consist of 5 offensive linemen. It actually consisted of about 7 to 8. To be successful in college football, you're going to need at least 7 to 8 different offensive linemen that can do a little bit of everything. You're going to need a few tackles. You're going to need a few hard-nosed, big-face guys in the middle to smash defensive linemen that think they're going to come touch whoever decides to win our quarterback contest. and you're going to need some road graders up front to be able to move people when we want to run the football. And I think that Coach Cap has gotten our guys primed to do just that. They're not just practicing at one position. He is also cross-training some guys, and I think those guys that are being cross-trained are actually intriguing at those positions, because with Grubb too, you could also see a misalignment or a different personnel depending on personnel package of what he decides to do with our skill position, between our tight end group, and with our offensive linemen too. So most improved position group, especially after hearing from some of these offensive linemen. Gino, I love what I heard from him in his interview. He's talking well about the guys. They're all working hard. They're not concentrated about anything besides football, and I like that. What's up, Chris?
I add something to that, and go ahead if you're a Vegas person, go ahead. I don't know if it's a prop in Vegas, but take our center Parker Brailsford to win the Remington. Whatever the odds are on him, take him, because he has Grubb back, and you saw what he did under Grubb. Go ahead and take those props or whatever odds for him to win the Remington.
Not even just under Grubb.
You saw what he did under Sheridan.
He might have been our best offensive lineman last year, and that's crazy considering Tyler Booker was there.
Yes.
Right.
And he's mean too. I like him because he's got that Landon Dickerson type of I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Right.
Like, I'm looking forward to this game starting because I'm kicking your ass all 60 minutes. I'm gonna wear your face up and down this field. And it has been a while since we had a center that wanted to wear a mother's face on the defensive side of the football. Now, if we could just get that energy on the other side of the football, we'd be golden.
Hey, have y'all seen his body too? He's gotten bigger, like more cut up, bulkier. Like, he finally looks the part of an ACC lineman.
Ty,
he coming to bully people. Real talk.
Literally. Bully Brailsford. I like it.
So I really would like to go defensive line because I really like the talent that's there. I think Tim Keenan, when he flashes, man, it's just about that consistency. And I think this is a big year for him. He knows it. Love a lot of that up front for Alabama, but I got to see it, right? I just have to see it. I think that this year I will be surprised, but I have to see it. Before I give mine, Chris, to your point with Ty Simpson, my thing with Ty Simpson was always you're a very talented quarterback. But we see this with quarterbacks who have terrible offensive lines, and in high school he had a terrible offensive line. Try and play hero ball, right? Caleb Williams, his last year at USC, great quarterback. He was so busy trying to play hero ball because he realized if I don't get this done, it's not getting done. You can pick up some negative habits. And I think Ty Simpson, I love his willingness to sit and learn. Really excited to see what he can do. Really excited about this quarterback battle. So that's an interesting one, Chris. But for me, I'm going to be boring, guys. It's the cornerback room. You talk about what is the most improved Bama position group. I think they were the most improved from start of last season to the end of last season. And now you don't have true freshmen out there that are playing out of necessity. Now understand the difference here. You might have Dejon Lee come in here and contribute, but it's not out of necessity. Last year you had Zabian Brown, who proved he belonged in SEC as a starting cornerback, but he was also played out of necessity. We knew Mbakwe, Zay Mincy, Zabian Brown, one of those guys was going to have to play because we didn't have bodies. Now you have the opposite problem. How in the world are we going to get all these guys play? I truly do believe Bama could have the best secondary in the nation. I really do believe that when you look at Bray Hubbard. And did y'all hear, was it Dupree, who was talking about how the hardest person he had to go up against at Bama, he said Keon Sabb. He said, which tight end was that? Was it Dupree or was it Cuevas? I don't know. There was an interview of one of the tight ends who was just saying what Sabb is able to do when he's healthy in zone coverage is freaky. You have Bray Hubbard, you have Sab, you have all of those options on the outside. You have all of the options at Rover, Husky. This DB room is going to be phenomenal. And the reason why I'm going with them is because Nick Saban a year ago said that's what he was most concerned with. I don't think there's a Bama fan in the world that's concerned about that secondary now.
And think about the battles in practice, like Isaiah Horton. Now he's like, whoa, this what a real corner room supposed to look like. Think about the battles in practice that those guys are making each other better. You know what I'm saying? Like you remember Matt, you and Pro and DJ Hall and Keith Brown, y'all used to make Anthony Madison and Bino and Roman them better. Y'all made each other better. We used to work, man. And
we get to the game. It was easy.
Hey, man, supposed to understand, practice was hard, man. Practice was hard. The only thing that felt like practice LSU because they were rough under Saban.
And they do everything under Saban.
They were rough under Saban, boy.
Lou, what you want to add?
I was just gonna say to Ty about the whole Nick Saban saying the thing about the DB room. Do you think that may not have been Saban's last not just challenge to be like, you know what? If I say this, they'll do it because it's rap.
I think it's both.
And look, they did
Catch 22.
I think it's both because I think Saban's very purposeful, right? And I think he was like, I think in Saban's mind, it was that they have the talent, they don't have experience. So I am going to challenge them. But I also am like, this could go one way or another. This could be you're learning in the fire. But I just want, and Matt, I'm so sorry to take up more time, but I just want to take everybody back to the end of the damn Georgia game. Zabian Brown said, I was talking to Coach Mo on the sideline, and we were talking about how, hey, he's throwing back shoulder. I'm in stack coverage.
Make that adjustment.
I'm playing stack coverage. For those of you that, and I'm sure all the viewers here, you guys are locked into football. But for anybody who sees this that doesn't know, stack coverage is when I'm playing over top of you. I'm not going to let you beat me over top. So Carson Beck, being a vet quarterback, was throwing back shoulder because that's what stack gives up. It's not trail, right? Trail is I'm not going to let you beat me underneath.
The trail technique.
Zabian said, okay, I'm going to show stack coverage the entire way. Then I'm going to undercut your ass. Sealed the game right then and there. True freshman. Come on now. A year later, kid is going to be unstoppable.
Easy money. And I want to add to this, guys, to round us out. My most improved Bama position group is, drumroll, the coaching staff. Ryan Grubb, hallelujah. There is a guy. We got Ryan Grubb on staff. That's the most improved Bama position group, and that's my take right there. 45-minute mark. I said over and under. Chris is tapped out. Give me my money.
Mr. Sandman Low.
He got a mouthful
of gizzards.
Yeah, dog. Hot dogs and gizzards.
Livers and gizzards.
Hot dogs and gizzards.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
All right, guys. So
in the crock pot.
In the crock pot. So listen, guys. Let's talk about our next sponsor. Not livers and gizzards, but if you are cooking in the kitchen with a crock pot, you're gonna get a little hot, a little sweaty. Listen, you're gonna need a towel to help you, to assist you to get through things. Listen, go and get you a Crimson Title towel at wetwillsports.com. That is amazing, beautiful. What is that? Egyptian cotton over there. Get you a Title
is that
towel.
velvet?
What is it? Velvet? Get you a Title towel from wetwillsports.com. Use the promo code STANDARD and get the premier Crimson Alabama fan memorabilia tile for football season this year. So, guys, let's shift to. We're moving quite along. This is what we do here at the Final Whistle. I think we're just.
Hey, Matt. Matt.
Yeah.
You know, I think Georgia should get their own towels. I think they should be checkered flags, though.
Listen, GTA 6 is going to be GTA Athens.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Is Kirby going to be on the front of that?
I think so.
Here's the thing. They I don't know if y'all heard the announcement today in regards to GTA. I know this is a sports stream, but some video game news. It's not going to be based in Florida anymore. It's going to be based in Athens, Georgia, because they just said, "Hey, we can't compete."
Listen, and Fast and Furious said they're doing a sequel out of Athens as well. So listen, a lot going on.
Fast 12.
Fast 12, yeah. No actors, no Vin Diesel, no Tyrese. They said they're just gonna go to the locker room and record. So, guys, speaking of the locker room, let's get back to on the field topic, and let's go to our next topic. We're talking about the defense. We talked a lot about Coach Mo. Talked about improved position groups. We talked about the staff. I talked about the coaching staff. Let's talk about what could be in store under Kane Wommack in year 2. Let's talk about, things, what you might have concerns, what are you expecting to see? And Luscion, I'm going to start with you on this topic, sir.
Yeah. I know it's going to be, Luke. We talked about it all week.
Yeah. So I dove into something yesterday, and I know me and Dan talked about this. The sack production has to seriously increase.
Yes.
And specifically, it has to increase from our defensive front. I'm not talking about the wolf position, the outside linebackers type, or our linebacker type, the inside linebackers who have led our team in sacks the last few years. I'm talking about a defensive lineman that is dominant up front. I think the last one we had was Phildarian Mathis, if that says anything, who led our team in sacks. And when our team is led in sacks, or at least a 1 or 2 is a defensive lineman, we usually win a natty when that happens. So I'm going to challenge our defensive line in year 2. I think Wommack is going to produce a serious amount of pressure from the interior guys. Now, I'm not going to say who it's going to come from because I don't know. I'm not going to let these guys talk me into thinking it's going to be this guy because it wasn't. I'm going to let them play it out. I do have the confidence, though, that Wommack and his scheme, especially with how strong he knows our secondary is going to be, how experienced our inside linebackers are going to be, he's going to be able to flex a little bit more in our front. And I think we're going to see that's going to result in more tackles for loss in the running game. I also think it's going to eliminate some of those long runs that we had when we were spread a little bit too spaced out in our front 3. I also think that it's going to create more damn sacks because 25 sacks ain't cutting it. I think this defense this year is going to get upwards of 35 to 40.
And hopefully no more of that 3-man front. I don't want to see that. Let's go. Ty, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I think that Wommack last year showed signs of being an incredibly elite defensive coordinator. And I have to say, though I had some complaints, though I had some head scratchers, when I put the entire year together, he was great. Like he was. Alabama's defense ranked much higher than I think most people thought it would, absent Nick Saban. Right? I mean, it was a solid year. It was. Not to say it was perfect. It wasn't. But for a new guy coming in, that exodus that happened, he's figuring out how he fits in. I think he did good. For me, Kane Wommack in year 2 is just now knowing his personnel. Now knowing, okay, this is what I have. This is what we do. And I'm really excited to see it. One of the things that he did against Georgia that I thought was just spectacular was switching up the looks pre and post snap. And just, he had Carson Beck in hell that first half. He had no idea what was coming. Well, now the team is more up to speed on this Wommack defense, right? They've had a year, naturally. That's just how this goes. I'm excited to see that. The pre and post snap looks that he's going to show people. I think that's going to cause a lot of confusion for quarterbacks. There are going to be some good quarterbacks in the SEC this year as well. And I think that's going to be something to look out for. Though I think, Lou, you're 100% right. You increase that sack production. You think our secondary is good now? They did that this year without having the sacks that Bama fans are accustomed to. Now we'll let LT Overton get home. Now let more guys start getting pressure. You think that secondary is elite now? Just wait.
I love
the
it.
ball's just like up in the air for no reason, because we also not to throw this little in there, but we also haven't had too many batted passes lately. And that's something that Bama used to be just eating off of, just a defensive lineman not being able to get there, a la Jonathan Allen, just punch it up. Just an easy little right in the bread basket for one of our safeties to take to the house, a la Minka.
Yeah. Dan, give us your thoughts on year 2 for Kane Wommack.
Yeah, I agree with Lou. You know, we want to see improvement as far as interior pass rushing. But another thing, you know, that I want to see from the front, you know, is set a freaking edge against the run. You know, set the edge, set a hard edge against the run. That, you know, that doesn't really take talent. All that takes is effort and determination. You know, so I want to see us improve on that. You know, let's contain the outside runs a little better. You know, I think we've gotten away from that in recent years. You know, and that's another area of improvement I want to see. You know, in year 2 from under Coach Wommack. You know, having guys that's willing to, you know, just, you know, take on the pulling guard. You know, the tackles. You know, the stretch run plays, you know, set the edge, you know, quit letting, you know, the ball carrier, you know, get to the outside willingly, you know. So that's another, besides, you know, definitely, you know, get more pressure. And I think we actually did a better job of getting turnovers last year, but definitely this pressure on the quarterback and setting the edge against the run.
Chris.
But he fighting it.
I'm not fighting. I'm not. I bet you'll be sleeping before I will.
Fighting them chillins.
He rubbing it good now.
Besides counting sheep, Chris, give us Kane Wommack's. What do you want to see in year 2 under his in his second year?
Well, it's not so much of what I want to see, is what we're gonna see. Like, what most people don't realize is when you have a new coordinator, both offensively and defensively, you don't see everything they have their first year because it's too much to put in. Year 2 is when you really see the full arsenal from a coordinator. You get to see everything. So it's still some stuff that that we haven't seen yet, but definitely I bet you it's a lot more pressure packages. Now we have the luxury of sending pressure and manning up. So now you can send 6 and lead 5, you know, 5 in coverage. You can send 6 man blitzes and all types of zone blitzes and blitzes from the boundary, corner blitzes. I think you'll see start to see something different, a little more aggressiveness, so to speak. And then you have a guy like James Smith who's grown up now. I think he's going to be like the man this year. I think James Smith and Overton is going to put this D line over the top this year. James Smith, Overton, you already got Keenan, who is probably the best interior nose guy in returning in college football. And then you have guys like Jordan Renaud and Jeremiah Beeman, guys who are really Edric Hill, who are really ready to take the next step. Hey Lou, now you're seeing what we saw with those Penn, like we were talking about with the Penn State, Ohio State, those teams right there with those big linemen rotating in. You got fresh linemen. Michigan. That's how they beat us in the bowl game. They still were rotating guys. Ty, they were all game long. One thing about Michigan, they may not have won. It wasn't because of their defense or their defensive line. The reason why they lost the games that they lost. And I feel like if you have a great defensive line, you can cover that. Like our D line has won games for us before, back in the Ashawn Robinson era. back with Jaron Reed, Jonathan Allen. That time, our D line took over games. They literally took over games, and that's what I think you're going to see for Kane Wommack's defense this year. I think you're going to start to see signs of those guys like James Smith, Jeremiah Beeman, LT Overton, even Kelby Collins. When it clicks on for them, I think you're going to see that, and therefore it's like it goes hand to hand. A good pass rush is a DB's best friend, and good coverage is a good pass rusher's best friend. So I expect the numbers on both ends to go up, both interceptions, sacks, pressures, everything. I expect the numbers to go up all around the board. And now the only thing we really have to worry about is our inside linebacker play. How that's going to look, how Lawson is going to be coming off that knee injury. Is George Jefferson ready to take on an every down role? I know that Green Hill kid, Hill Green, whatever the last name is, kid from Colorado. I know he's gonna once he clicks with him, he's gonna be a stud. And we're hearing good things from the middle linebacker from Abdul Sanders. And then you still have guys like Caden Jones that waiting their time. I know we lost Justin Orunkwo, but I believe that we're more than capable. We have guys more than capable to fill, that potential role that he was going to fill. So I think on all three levels, we're gonna see improvement and guys playing faster because they understand the defense more. You understand it more. You understand why you're doing it. You understand how it's supposed to look. We're going in and making corrections from year one to year two, and I think that's what Coach Womack's they're working on right now in spring ball. The things that they struggled with last year that tends to be your main focus in spring and getting better. So I just expect more pressure overall.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to see that and some creativity. I think Kane Wommack will be off to a great year too. And I think, like Luscion said and Dan, it starts up front. You got to get football starts up front. You got to be physical. Luscion?
I just thought about something that we all talked about that it's kind of, it hurt us and it's straight up. And that's finishing tackles. I know there was a lot of times that, especially in the games that we lost, we thought we had a guy a lot of times. I thought we had a guy 2 or 3 times, and they kept slipping out. In year 2 of Kane Wommack's defense, I need to see all 11 guys on the field, no matter who the hell they are, no matter what position they're playing, no matter what spot on the field. If you have a chance to make a tackle, I need to see you finish it. I need to see you drive him to the ground disrespectfully. Just quit being a nice guy. That's not what Alabama defenses are. Get that bully mentality back and hit somebody and finish the phase. Because if you just go up and try to arm tackle people, this is the SEC, boys. People are going to run out of that. That Vanderbilt game, watching that quarterback run away from our players, was probably as mad as I've been in a very long time. Because it's not because they don't have the ability. They just didn't freaking do it. You're going to tell me that dude is more athletic than our defenders? No. He's not. Our players just didn't do it. In year 2, Kane Wommack, I need to see our guys tackle. Like Alabama defensive guys tackle.
We need them to hit somebody. Hit them in
disrespectfully.
Yeah, hit them.
You think of Alabama, what you think about defense? And this always been the history of football. Alabama football. You think of Alabama, you think of defense. And we need to get back to that standard.
Yep. Well, listen, great job on this topic, guys. And I love how Luscion brought that great something we didn't discuss is about making tackles. I think that's a point of emphasis. So, Kane Wommack, you tune it in, get those guys knocking somebody's heads off this football season. So, guys, it's March Madness. Bama made it to the Elite Eight, but, I'm going to let Chris and Dan, this is y'all's topic. We want to give a big shout-out, salute to Coach Oates and their basketball seasons. Grant Nelson, Mark Sears, listen, those guys, legendary Cliff, all those guys, Coach Oates, the amazing job they did. I was hoping we were going to pull it off versus Duke, but, Duke's on another level. So Those 1 seeds were just tough. So, Chris, Dan, the floor is yours regarding saluting Alabama basketball. And I got a question for you all real quick after y'all go over it real quick regarding Alabama basketball.
All right. Well, first off, salute, man, like to an awesome Mark Sears, man, one of the top 5 Alabama basketball players of all time, from what he's done to be a 2-time All-American. He's a finalist for the Wooden Award. When last time Alabama had the finalist for the Wooden Award? Was it Brandon Miller? Was he a finalist?
Probably.
I don't think Brandon Miller was. I'm not sure.
Not even heard,
yeah. Right.
So shout out to him, man, for what he's done. Like Mark Sears really came in and did his thing, man, and I'm proud of what he did. Thank you, Grant Nelson. Grant Nelson was big time, and he was a unicorn, 6'11", mismatch. I wish we'd have utilized him a little more. Big Cliff Omiyuri, that came in from Rutgers and just fit in like a glove. To this team, man, he plugged up the middle. He was a lot, just great stuff that he did, man. Shout out to Chris Youngblood, Tuscaloosa native that came in. He left a role to where he was the conference player of the year at South Florida the year before to take a lesser role on the Alabama team because he saw the bigger picture. He was trying to get to a championship, and that's tough for a lot of people to do. Go somewhere and take a lesser role.
Yeah, but don't get it twisted. He was definitely a leader, maybe the leader on the team. Yes, he was very vocal. Yeah,
he was definitely a leader. But I mean, a lesser role from the offensive standpoint. And shout out what others we probably hopefully the word is still out on the verdict still out on Fallon, the draft decision. That's gonna be huge. We can get Fallon back another year. That will be like unreal, man.
Yeah.
That'll be like having the top player in the country coming in playing for you. Who else we lost, Dan? Those were the seniors, and Nas Cunningham. Unfortunately, he hit the transfer portal yesterday. I hate
that was expected.
Yeah, that he left. I had high hopes for him. And then they say it's going to be a tough decision to make. Unless they can work something out between Stevenson and Reed. One of them, we may only be able to hang on to one of those guys. So that's going to be a tough decision for the staff. But just a salute to the whole basketball squad, man. Salute to Preston Nate Oates, Preston Murphy, and the assistant that just got what's his name, Dan Pannone. What's his name that just got
Gary Pannone
at Arkansas. Shout out to him, man. Just everybody. This is Nate Oates' 5th assistant since he's been at Bama to get a head coaching position elsewhere. Already, he's only been here 6 years. That's speaking volume on the type of leader.
That speaks volume to where we are as a basketball program. That does.
Yeah. Three straight Sweet 16s. When last time you remember that, Matt? 3 straight Sweet 16s. We were just happy to win a doggone tournament game a few years ago.
Only Sweet 16s I remember is
I mean, they even trying to get Nate Oates. You got teams, still trying to come at Nate Oates.
Yeah. And think about it, and just to be able to honor, like it's like now, if we don't make it out the first weekend, it's a disappointment. We don't make it past the Sweet 16, it's a disappointment. Now he's got us to the point to where we're like Final Four bust, kind of. Well, we want a championship.
Yeah.
We just unfortunately ran for the second year in a row. We don't ran into a
best team in the tournament.
I think he put us consistently into a top 10 program, which is amazing.
Yeah. Considering where we were with some of the guys that we had before he got here, man, it was like some guy couldn't even play in my high school that was on.
Right.
Dan, give us your take on Bama salute.
Yeah, man. It was a great run. We had a great year. We stumbled toward the end of the year, same way we did last year, that we started to make a run in the postseason. But hey, we ran into a buzzsaw. To be honest, Duke, they had NBA guys out there, and they forced us to play a half court game. Anytime you get us to do that, and we're not hitting our shots, coupled with that, that's not a good recipe. But what I want to see us do is, stop getting big board in the middle, in the paint. It's easy. We tend to just have one guy, a rim protector. We went and got a rim protector. But it's easy to draw, a rim protector away from the goal. You know what I'm saying? So that allows for, offensive rebound, second chance points, and things like that. So, I want to see us, be able to protect the rim and rebound consistently, together, not one or the other, sacrifice one for the other. We still got to get a little more length on the perimeter. I think we were a little undersized at the guard position, and in certain games, teams were able to find the mismatch, so I want to see us get, a little bigger, get back to the length, and go from there. But, hey, this year we relied a lot on the 3-point shot, because of our size. So we tried to run team, but you're not going to be able to do that with every team. That starts, to do that, that starts with being able to rebound the ball and defend the ball, generate turnovers, and not turn over the ball. So I want to see us cut down on turnovers and defensive rebound better than what we've been doing. So that's the next step to get to where we need to be.
All right. Okay. Dan, Chris, real quick, give me your top 5 Alabama players in Alabama basketball history.
You say that what now?
Give me your top 5 Alabama basketball players in history.
Okay. Oh man.
No specific order.
No specific order. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna definitely say Brandon Miller, Colin Sexton. But those what we seen for them in 1 year, was definitely amazing. Now you got to throw in Mark Sears, with what he's been able to do. I'm gonna go with Latrell Sprewell, Robert Ory, and that's leaving out some guys. I'm pull a Chris, Antonio McDice, Derek McKee,
Hey, Hollywood James
Buck
Robinson.
Williams, Hollywood Robinson.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
TR
Yes.
Dunn, yeah. Chris, so Dan went Sexton, Miller, McDice, Ory, and who was your fifth?
Sprewell.
Oh, nice. Chris.
It's hard to argue that. I give them. I'm gonna go modern. I'm gonna go.
Right. Name 5 more that I did name, Chris. We got to give a shout out.
Reggie Rambo.
Reggie Rambo.
Oh man,
that's my boy. No, but for real though, definitely. I'm gonna go Richard Hendricks.
Big hand.
Y'all remember Richard was a double machine. Like big Richard Hendricks wasn't he SEC Player of the Year, Dan? Wasn't the SEC Player of the Year? Richard Hendricks.
Yes, he was. I think yeah.
Yeah, Richard Hendricks. I'm gonna name 5 more. Herb Jones. Because the reason why I say Herb, it went from a point stat line, just from what Herb brought to this team.
Yeah, the culture.
His importance. Like that dude played with a cast on, man, like a broken, and shot free.
Gotta have Herb.
With the other hand. You gotta have Herb on there, man. SEC Player of the Year.
Right.
Those 2. I'm gonna go Buck Williams. 3.
Derek McKee.
Oh man. Yeah, McKee up there, man. It's hard, man.
Jason Caffey.
Man, it's hard, man. How you gonna limit us to 5?
Melvin Cheatham.
Got 2 more. No, 3 more. One of them.
All right. I'm gonna definitely
Grant Nelson, Mark Sears. There you go.
No, Mark Sears already on there. No, I'm gonna definitely. I'm gonna definitely give it to
Tony.
I don't want to disrespect nobody, man. Leave nobody off.
Michael Green.
Hey, Michael Green was
he was pure.
You know one player that nobody talks about, but he really put up numbers at Bama?
Tony Mitchell.
Oh, Retinal Bossahan.
Right,
Oh,
right. Yeah.
Man, Retinal Bossahan averaged what, about 20 points a game then?
Yeah, he was at 19, I think. 19,
All
nearly
SEC,
20. Yeah,
all
right.
SEC. We weren't at, but Retinal Bossahan really was a baller.
Yeah, he was that guy his senior year. Yeah.
Retinal Bossahan was a baller.
Let me give you mine. Underrated. I wish he never got
Mo
hurt.
Williams.
No.
Mo Williams.
Ronald
good call, in.
Ronald Steele. If he never
Ronald
got
Steele.
hurt, he probably would have been one of the best point guys ever come through.
Yeah, Ronald Steele and Mo Williams. You got to. It's just hard to limit the 5. You can't limit the 5 out.
All right, okay.
You're top 5 Alabama football players.
All right, well, get in the chat. Let us know your thoughts. But I wanted to throw that question to you all. So, guys, we're coming towards the end of the shizzo. Let's go to the audience Q&A real quick. Let's see if we can do these rapid fire. If y'all had my advice for Bach, what would it be? Ooh,
Special teams.
Yeah.
We're gonna make the biggest
number one return. It'd be a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. Get on the field with special teams. Make an impact there.
Be a Swiss Army knife.
I'd love to see him in some Wildcat packages.
Yeah. You know,
he's nice with it. He played quarterback in high school.
Special team is best bet to get on the field.
Yeah,
but that just goes to show you, like, that's why if you're a jack of all trades, sometimes that hurts you as opposed to being a specialist on one side of the ball. Yeah. Like Ryan Williams is a receiver, a specialist. You know, Xavier Brown's a specialist. So to kind of be a
in between both of them, yeah.
BJ Scott was a tweener.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you're a tweener, man, that can kind of hurt you, man.
My advice would be is just be dominant on one side of the field first, then the transition. All right, next question. Nick Hardy says, on the running backs, what do y'all think Dre Washington will be?
Dre, I forgot about him. I forgot he was even on campus.
You know, I don't, you know, I don't know how this staff is, but Coach Saban, he wouldn't bring in a JUCO guy or a transfer without, you know, him, you know, the thought of him being able to get into compete for playing time. But this situation, you know, I think he was brought on for depth purposes. Yeah. So at least, you know, he's going to be behind, you know, our first 2 running backs and maybe even behind Daniel Hill. So I'm looking at best probably 4.
But think about it.
Go ahead, Luke.
One thing about Grubb, especially now being back in the fold, is Kalen DeBoer likes to run packages for certain types of players. And Mr. Washington fits a couple of those packages that Grubb likes to run, especially for certain types of players. Not necessarily for his number 1 or his number 2 running back, but as some of you might not know, Dre Washington's got home run speed.
Yeah.
And in Grubb type of offense, that is a one cut and gone type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's just another little weapon that he's going to have at his fingertips, and he's going to use them. So it might not matter about touches. It's going to be about, are these players going to be effective when the football gets in their hands? And I think he's going to be very successful. And I think he's going to cross pay dirt at least 3-4 times.
Great analysis from our brother Luscion Graves. Next question, please. HB98, why has defensive line lacked dominance basically since 2018-ish, just 2018-ish?
No, we were very good in 2020, but that's COVID year. You can't really count that. But good question. I mean, if we knew that, you know, Coach Saban probably still be coaching.
I think we just hope they turn it around this year. Joe Edwards, which offensive line individual or fit best at left tackle if they move Proctor to guard?
You don't want to do that.
Don't want to move Proctor to guard.
No.
He's going to be a lottery pick at left tackle.
It's money year for him.
Yeah, this is money year. This is Will Campbell year right now. I don't know. Backup. Maybe I heard Michael Carroll might be getting some burn over there. I don't know. What have y'all heard? Luscion, Chris, Dan?
I don't know. I think we still working through some.
Well, since Proctor's been out, I've seen Olas Elanine filling in over there.
Okay.
As far as left tackle, but I think that's just because, I mean, like I said, Coach Cap's just trying to cross-train these guys because you don't know what's going to happen. People are going to get injured, and you're going to have guys step up. So, and honestly, we signed probably one of the most impressive offensive line classes to ever grace a college football campus. So those guys are all talented. Plus, the guys we signed in the class before that are going to have something to say too. So
great. Another great analysis by Luscion. Next question. Will Red Morgan get some playing time this year? No one is talking about him. I think he's going to get playing time. I just think, it's just the temperature in the kitchen has gotten revved up because of so much talent and competitiveness that is in that secondary room that he's going to have to, really develop his speed, coverage, all those things, because, I mean, you can't have any slip-ups with all the talent we got in this secondary room, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. Devontae Smith leaving probably going to help, but man, when Bray Hubbard came on, that really started putting pressure on other guys,
Luscion?
He also, they also said, Kalen DeBoer also said that he's been working a lot about cross-training too with the safeties. So if there would be a chance, maybe possibly we could see him more in a safety position. And to me, him coming out of high school, I thought that's what he would more likely fit in. Kane Wommack style defense is a safety type because he is a cerebral ball hawk. And to kind of be to me, he kind of can become what Keon Sabb is eventually down the road in his career. That ball hawking, that specialist type of safety that just gives offensives fits because they can't out scheme him. I think that's what Red Morgan, his ceiling could be if he, keeps working on his progression and whatnot. But like we said, he got competition. Ivan Taylor,
See, them dogs in there.
These young kids ain't come to sit. They came to play. They came to compete, and they ain't scared of it.
Yep. Great comment. Great analysis right there. Appreciate it, Joe Edwards. Is that our last question? All right, cool. So great round of the table. You know how to follow us. You can see it at the bottom of the screen. Listen, guys. Let's shout out our other shows here on the Bama Standard Network. It's a slew of them. I'm gonna let Dan talk about his shows, and it's so many shows out there on the Bama Standard. We got something for you for every night. So Dan, talk about your shows and other shows that are out here on the Bama Standard.
Yeah, right here on this very channel. Tomorrow night, I won't be available tomorrow night, unfortunately, but be sure to tune in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, to the Crimson Dynasty, CC Payne and JB. We're expecting a great show tomorrow night. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be on, but y'all be sure to tune in and support them tomorrow. As it's going to be another great show. Be sure to follow me on X, Final Whistle Dan, Instagram, Dan James IV. Y'all be sure to hit the like and subscribe. Thank everyone in the chat. I appreciate y'all showing up every week and taking time out your day. And I'm sorry, I said the wrong time. I'm sorry. It's 7:30. We moved to a new time, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. So y'all be sure to tune in tomorrow night. Thank you, Justin. And with that said, y'all be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. And you know how to follow Chris. You know how to follow Luscion. And just most importantly, tune in next week. And we're glad to be back here on the Bama Center Network, here at the Final Wilson. You know, we like to end the show on those two infamous, famous words. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Tide. Slow down, Georgia.
Oh, he got it.
Urban on that corner. Oh.